Welcome to the Journeyman's Bits. $34, 2 ounces on my faithful Milky Bee wafter. Now this is the business end of what I call my wafter rig. Now I always use a curved shank hook. Invariably these days it's a size 4. I use a quarter hook, but there are many other patterns available. Just choose the one that suits you the best. Now onto the shank of the hook, I use 2 hook beads. Now they were recommended by Liam Bartrop in one of his videos a while ago, and they're available on eBay. I use a Thinking Angler's hook ring swivel, and that is trapped between, as I say, 2 of the beads. I use a Fox liner, the Transkhaki ones. I used to use shrink tube, but I find it easier to use these now. And then as the hook link appears from the liner, I strip the coating off, so I've got about 5mm of braid exposed. I use Kristen tungsten putty, and my favourite hook length is the Fox Camotex semi-stiff in the light camo. I strip off about 100mm of coating, and I tie that using a 4-turn Grinner Knot to the hook, leaving about 20mm of its exposed braid below the eye. For the purposes of the demonstration, I'm using a large swivel, but it doesn't matter whether it's a swivel or a hook, the knot's exactly the same. So you put the hook link through the eye twice, pull it back on itself, leave a fairly large tag end, and then you form that tag end into a loop, and then you pass the tag end around the main part of the line through the loop. And I think the industry standard is 5 times, but I actually do it 4 times. And then just ease it down on itself like any other knot. Moisten it before you do the final tightening, and then trim it off so you have a short tag end. Now it's not a knot that slips really, so you can go fairly short on the tag end. Then onto the shank of the hook goes the first bead. Now there's a taper on the bead. Now the taper goes down towards the eye, then the swivel goes on, then the second bead goes on with the taper pointing towards the point of the hook. Then I thread on the Transkhaki liner, which is obviously pushed over the eye of the hook. And when the hook link comes out from the liner, I pucker up the coating to expose about 5mm of braid, and then where that area is puckered up, it gives me something to mould the tungsten putty around. Then I measure from the putty and form a loop at the end, about 180mm, and that loop I use an overhand figure of 8 knot. To form the figure of 8 loop, first determine the length of your hook link, then fold the material over to form a loop. Now I make it slightly bigger than I actually want it to finish up, catering for it getting slightly smaller when you've tied the knot. And I form a loop, and then twist that loop round to form a slightly smaller loop, and then put the end of your link through to form the figure of 8. It's as simple as that, and then just pull it down tight. And then that is steamed down to neaten the knot up. I trim the knot, and then I tend to put a bit of shrink tubing over the top of that, and then it's finished off with a small Transkhaki anti-tangle sleeve. And I call it a wafter rig, and when I am fishing it as a wafter, I tend to fish the swivel down towards the eye of the hook, but it can be used as a pop-up, and you just move the top bead up towards the barb of the hook so the swivel can travel further up the shank of the hook. All you need to do then is attach some bait floss, and onto the bait floss you just put your favourite wafter or your favourite pop-up. Now these days I tend to just blob it on there. Well, that's my go-to wafter rig that I talk about a lot, and it does catch me a high percentage of fish. And part of the reason for that is I got utmost confidence in it, and I use it a lot, and it's always my starting point on a new water, put it that way, until something else materialises. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And whilst we've all been confined to the house, the subscriptions have increased by quite a bit. So thanks for getting involved and thanks for joining. I hope you're enjoying what you see. I've got a few more of these to do, and then hopefully in the not too distant future we're going to be back out in the bank doing some proper fishing. Anyway, cheers for now. 1, 2, 3. Well, there you have it. That's my world famous wafter rig. Oh.